I want to dive into your music a little bit. I did read up on you a lot. I know you grew up with a lot of positive influence. I wouldn't categorize you as privileged, but you were really blessed with your grandpa. Yes. And how do you feel about him in your life?
I feel incredibly blessed and rich in love and support. I did not plan out the way the past couple of years have gone. It kind of just happened. It was almost as if it was orchestrated on my behalf, and every decision that I made was just like another step towards what I'm doing now. And so having a legacy of music, not only in my grandfather, but my dad and my aunts and uncles and my cousins, and always being surrounded by music and really opening up my ears to what was possible as a singer. I was just fascinated always. And so I think now the key is to just make sure that creative pursuit never ends. And in the midst of all of the fast-paced life that I'm living now, that I'm focused on the creative pursuit first and foremost.
Okay. Have you ever come across like a creative block?
Yes.
How do you?
Yes. How do I get out? I think creative blocks usually come for me when I'm just too in my head, and I sort of isolate myself in my thinking. And so what helps me is very simple, but I just start listening to music again, especially music that I grew up with, because I feel like it not only grounds and centers me, but it reminds me of why I'm doing what I do in the first place. Because there's sometimes where I'm so in my head, I'll go a whole day without listening to a single thing because I'm answering emails or like, doing all of these other things attached to, what it is that I love, but it's kind of like taking me away a little bit. And so I want to constantly be filling myself up with inspiration and with music and positive thoughts and stuff, so that I have something to give on stage. I have something to give through my recording. So that's how I do it.
Is there anything that you could think of that could, for example, if I'm telling you, hey girl, I want to sing, what would you give them to nudge them to give it more of a try?
Yeah. I would say, first of all, everybody's path is different. So don't compare or look to somebody else as that being your exact path. Because, for example, there are certain artists that while I look up to them, I don't know if I could handle or endure what they had to do to get to that point, and all of the lessons and mistakes and backtracking that they had to do to get to that point of success. And so you really have to love what you're doing. I think the music might be the easiest part of all of this because there's so many other, outer forces and outer things that you have to handle and sort of push off in order to protect this, And so the advice that I would give is, if you're really interested in it, first of all, if you feel like you're being led or guided one way or the other, just follow your natural instinct. But if you really love music, if you really love being an artist, if there is a part of you that is longing to fulfill, this need to perform or to write or to record or to work with artists, then continue to do everything you can possible to pursue that, whether it's making friends and collaborating with your peers, like not even being like, my dream is to work with this person. Like, start with where you are, and build from where you are, because the truth is opportunity is all around. You could have something tomorrow that could completely change your life. But if you're not prepared for it, if you're always comparing, or if you're thinking about where you're not and what you're not doing versus building up what you have and using the strengths that you have and the love that you have and continuing to foster that, then you'll find yourself missing out on things that, could have been your moment, or at least one step. So yeah, I would say if you love it, if you really love it, keep pursuing it, keep learning about it, keep finding things that you love about it and what you want to add, keep learning, keep sharpening, because when that opportunity that you've always wanted arrives at your doorstep, you'll be prepared. And that's a hard truth. If you need to work another job, if you need to work for a label in order to, get in and to make some sort of connection. If you need to, whatever you have to do to make the dream work. And there's an actor named Coleman Domingo, and I love whenever he talks about his journey because he found success in his 50s.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
when he really, now he's like a superstar. He's nominated for an Oscar, and I think he's back to back. He was nominated for an Oscar last year. But he's like, I never considered myself a struggling artist. I just considered myself an artist when I was bartending, when I was in theater on and off Broadway or on and off in certain plays, or whether I was a waiter, I was always an artist. And now that I'm in my moment, I realize everything that I learned in those years of not waiting, but building. In those years of building, I realize all of it makes me a complete human being with complete experience, and now I have the integrity and the focus to decide what I really, really want. So
Yeah, that's lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember I used to be like an emo kid. Mm-hmm. Did you do that? Did you?
I couldn't get into that phase. I couldn't get into that phase because I was just a happy kid. I don't know. But the style of emo, like, it was very defined.
Because I'm a Paramore stan.
Oh, I'm Paramore down.
See, Haley is
Paramore down.
Yeah, she's got it.
Yeah,
she's got it. Mm-hmm. She went through a lot of stuff,
for years,
but always come through.
Yeah.
with the deliveries.
The tunes.
Yes. Did you see that someone capped like a paparazzi thing of Doechii?
I think so.
And then she's walking around, and then Haley's like song is on her.
Yes,
iTunes
I did see that.
And
I did see that.
Haley was like, "Is that me?
Am I chronically online?" I think so.
I was like, "Oh my god, full circle moment!" I love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Disney, like who was your favorite? Like, or not just Disney, like
in general, growing up. I think I mean, I loved High School Musical. I loved Brenda Song and Wendy Wu Homecoming. I liked I'm trying to think of what else I liked. The Cheetah Girls were my love, my life. Yeah. Literally, I was a Cheetah Girl growing up. And I think it's beautiful to be surrounded by so many different kinds of music because it's all a part of me. Even if I don't sing like the Cheetah Girls as my first resort, it's somewhere in there as a part of my musical makeup. So I didn't really start getting into jazz until much, much later. Yeah. And so I had time to sort of develop my voice through gospel, through soul, through pop, through not as much country, but maybe like folk music. Yeah. And so now that when I first started really, really listening to jazz was in college, and I just spent those 4 years just only like discovering that, listening to that. And now it kind of feels like it's balanced with everything else in my life. Because first it was like, I'm familiar with all of these different genres, but jazz is the one that I'm like starting at zero at. And now it feels like it's finally like leveling out, like it's all a part of who I am.
Well, let's talk about something else. Do you still remember that rush of like adrenaline when they call your name at the Grammys?
Yeah. No, it was really insane. Both times. Because that was my first Grammys, and I was performing, and I was nominated in a really big category.
Yeah.
So the whole weekend just feels like a blur now, but looking back at photos and stuff like that, I was just excited. I was just excited to be there and to experience it.
Did you like black out?
I kind of blacked out a little bit. Because I was just having fun. Like, I was like, oh my God, I get to perform. Oh shoot, I won one. I have to give a speech. Oh my God, thank you. And then it was like, okay, now we get ready for the big night, like the televised event. There were so many performances. It was the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So I saw Queen Latifah and Will Smith and like all of these Busta Rhymes. I was like, oh, this is dope. Yeah. Like, it's like a concert right now. Know. Like, this is crazy. And so when they called my name again that day, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I just got here. This is my first time. This is literally like my first like big album. This is my first time. And I just started singing jazz like 3 years ago before this. So how is this even happening? So it was more than a shock. I was just like, what the heck? Like,
I would say a lot of people, if you gunning for a Grammy, no offense, Billy. No offense. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I feel like awards and success or any kind of recognition should come from as a result of your own love to your craft. Because if you're gunning for the result, then your process, the way you make what you're doing, is not authentic.
Right.
And you're not only chasing. I think you're surfing an agenda, which makes your art or creative output very replaceable, I would say. You know, like a lot of people would take personal matters into, but it also depends on how you deliver that too. Do you have a certain process of how you pour yourself into your music?
It really sort of centers around what I'm listening to at the time. I think, and I can tell from, because this is only my third record. This is my first album, first time in the studio. Don't really know what to do here, but I know it's going to live forever, so I'm going to try my best. Second album, I was touring so much more. I was on the road. I was sharpening my voice and my confidence, and I went into the studio with a heightened sense of confidence, but still sort of hesitant. And now with this one, after what feels like 10 years of road experience, even though it's only been 5, I finally feel like I have something to say. And the process, it centers around what I was listening to and the live performance. Like, I already have 100 gigs on the books. I know at the beginning of the year, I have 100 gigs, maybe 150. So what am I going to be doing during all that time? Am I going to be singing the same thing, same songs, same way every night? Or am I going to reach for something? Am I going to surround myself? Because that's one thing that I do admire about somebody like Doechii and her creative process. Yeah. It seems like she can do anything and it it will work.
I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, honestly.
You have no idea. Because I discovered her around 2000 and... I would say a good 2020-ish. I don't know. I'm an editor. We dig, and I was like, she's on fire. This bitch, And then I looked into. She was struggling a lot. And then COVID, and I was just like, and I was really happy that she got signed, because she needs more help,
support.
Yeah. The people who can, put her in right lanes. And then look what she did.
Now everything seems like aligned. And even people like Kendrick Lamar, his process, he was gone for a while, in between albums. He was in Africa or with his family or kind of planning out the business side of things. Yeah. And now it's the perfect moment, but it took time. So I think that process for me might look different because I'm not I wouldn't consider myself an entertainer, maybe more of a performing artist than an entertainer, with choreography and lights and, things like that. But I think it remains the same as if you have a love for your craft and if you have a desire to always surround yourself with people who will help you realize your vision, then you can do anything, literally, I know it sounds cliche, but you can do anything you set your mind to. If I want to have a band of my peers, specifically, if I want to have everybody arrange songs, I don't have any boundaries. Y'all arrange the way you want and we'll shape it together. Then that's what I want to do. And then it turns into a whole album about community and collaboration and relying on the people around you to strengthen you and lift you up, and not only help them and give them an opportunity to let their musical voices be heard, but allow yourself to be challenged and be put into a setting where you can grow and do things that you couldn't do before. I'm singing stuff on this album that I would have never tried to do a year ago, but because I put myself in a position to grow and surrounded myself with people who also wanted to do the same, I felt like I could do anything. So
yeah, I mean,
it's the process.
Why not?
Yeah,
I think the only failure that we ever encounter is to not try.
Yeah, especially now. I'm 25. I feel like an old lady, but I'm 25.
Baby.
But I'm if not now, I mean, all of this wonderful stuff. And I feel like I have leverage now. It's not like I have to listen to a label tell me you need to do this in order to be successful. I'm doing what I'm doing. This is just, it's not even the plan to say in 5 years I'm going to win 5 Grammys or whatever. It just happened because I was myself. And thankfully there's an audience there who supports me no matter what. It almost seems like I could sing anything and people would just be like, we just want to hear you.
Women, you have a voice
Thank you.
Golden butter. That's how I say it.
Thank you.
Like I said earlier, like a butter on a warm toast. That's the feeling you give me. Whenever I listen to your music, I'm like,
Thank
you like gospel?
I love gospel. Yeah, it's one of the main foundations of my voice and of my family's history too. Like my grandparents and my dad and all of my family members, they grew up singing in church and playing in church and devoting their life to like their commitment to singing music that inspires faith and wholeness and peace and joy. So I learned everything from them.
Have you ever think about like crossing a bigger step into different genres?
I've thought about it. It's definitely been suggested, and I feel like I can do anything with my voice, but I don't know if I would make like a public step crossing a certain line and crossing a certain threshold. I feel like I can sing whatever I want, honestly, right now. Like I can do, there's so many possibilities of what I can do, especially and just in this context, you know. So I never really thought about it like, oh, I'm just singing jazz now, and then eventually I'll just transfer over to, like, I can just be like, this is who I am.
Yes.
Gospel, R&B, soul, jazz, pop, even deep in there.
What's your recent like playlist look like?
Like I said, I'm quite predictable. And so I actually set up different playlists depending on my mood. And so I have,
do that too.
Yeah.
I do that too.
I have, do you know the 50 Cent song, Find Me in the Club, Bottle Full of Bub? So I have a playlist called Bottle Full of Bub.
Oh, I love
As
that.
like when I'm getting ready for the show or getting ready to go out somewhere. And it has Beyonce on there. It has some like disco, some disco songs on there, like Donna Summer and stuff. I have,
I love her.
yes, I have a laid back grooves playlist, that has stuff with like Roy Hargrove and D'Angelo and Stevie Wonder and Luther Vandross, even her.
I love her.
So yeah,
I love her.
yeah,
Do you want to
she's
do
amazing.
something with her?
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember on the night that I won, like the first time I went to the Grammys, and there was a Universal Music Group after party, and I was getting in, and she was just leaving, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you." I was like, "Oh, girl, I love you."
I would grab her and be like, wait, you need to stay.
Can
We
you
need to
focus
talk."
on me?
Yes.
No, love
Her
her.
voice is also
Love her. Warm.
like butter. How do you guys do that?
I don't know.
Did you take lessons?
In college, but growing up, it was just listening.
But as you speak, I can hear that in your voice already. You know.
Oh no.
But it's so nice. You have a gift.
Thank you.
A lot of people will kill for.
Thank you.
So what's on rotation of like I would say your daily routine that you love? Like
Music wise,
of
or
course,
something that I do.
just in your life. I think because you travel a lot,
Yeah.
you're touring. But is there something in your like I gotta do this every day that makes you feel good?
Stretch. I need to stretch every day. I've
That's
gotten
so important.
really lazy with my fitness journey traveling because I feel like I'm always on the go. I'm always walking through the airport or running somewhere. But my fitness journey, and I love trying any sort of local tea or local coffee shop for the pastries.
We have a lot of those.
Yes. I love a good pastry with some hot tea. So I have to do that every day.
Yeah.